Welcome back to RFD-TV Live with our friends from AGROTAIN, and 866-547-9696 for you to join us live here on our program. Ray's been holding on through that last break from Tennessee. Ray, we thank you for holding, and now your question.
I want to know, I've got a couple of questions I'd like to ask.
All right.
My soil has run a lot of clay in it. Does it make any difference what type of soil you use this on?
All right.
And how much the AGROTAIN do you use per 100 of nitrogen?
Hey, again, great questions that a lot of viewers might wonder, but Ray has asked for them. Okay, first of all, soil types.
Soil type is a factor. I mean, what we're talking about is different factors that will influence the amount of loss you have. And certainly with soils that are heavily weathered, they do not have much potential to either buffer against losses or to prevent the loss of nitrogen. So you can see a quite large amount of nitrogen loss from these, let's say, weathered soils, if you will. Mm-hmm. So there can be quite a good advantage of using something to stabilize the nitrogen in that kind of a soil. Now, in terms of the rates,
right.
Again, I would recommend that the caller talk to the retailer, because he would have the best idea for those conditions for his area, what would be the best recommendation.
Would you say, and maybe either one of you might answer this, as far as soil types, clay soils, our soils say in Iowa, Minnesota, that would blue earth, or sandy soil in the panhandle of Nebraska, or the center pivot systems. Of those are just three, but how would they compare to each other as far as their need for nitrogen stabilization?
Well, let's just start with the clay soil. Clay soil is going to have a lot higher water holding capacity. It's going to also have a tendency to become saturated because it has low conductivity through the soil. You're going to have a lot more denitrification potential in a sandy soil, as opposed to that other extreme of the sandy soil. The clay soil is going to have a lot greater potential for nitrous oxide formation than in the sandy soil.
Because the water stays there longer.
The water stays there longer, and you have, when it sets up, you get some of those clays, they really set up hard. Whereas in sandy soil, you've got a lot more oxygen exchange back and forth, but you also have a lot lower water holding capacity. So that's the extremes of those. But you think about where do you want to apply this? So it's going to work. Stabilizers are going to be effective in both extremes, but
sure,
maybe for different reasons as to why the dynamics are going on.
All right, back to our telephones. That's a great answer, and hopefully we're all learning together here tonight from our friends from AGROTAIN and USDA from Ames, Iowa. Fred from Michigan is up next. Fred, welcome.
Yeah, using the AGROTAIN, let's say you're putting down 250 pounds per acre, how much could you reduce your application back?
Another great question. Okay, 100. Well, I'll let you just take that. I'm sure you've been asked that question before.
Sure. The first principle here is to find a nitrogen rate that makes sense for your field, whether it be a recommendation from a university, from soil sampling program, to do something, the use of the nitrogen, the rate of nitrogen based on a recommendation, a target. Now, if you are trying to hit that target, what AGROTAIN will do is make sure that the amount that you apply is the amount that you get into the soil. Mm-hmm. So we're actually trying to make sure what you are trying to get is there, and that's going to provide the yield that's intended.
Right.
Now, if you're, for some reason, overcompensating, if you're adding more nitrogen for the thought that you're losing some,
right,
then we should back off that, and we should use the stabilizer to make sure that our target is correct and aim for that target. So if the target's 200, then go for 200 and don't apply 250.
And a great point this time of year. People are, making those kind of decisions right here and now, it seemed to me. Let's go back to our telephones. Good call for our viewers. Expect nothing less. And Don, you're going to keep up the pace here from Oklahoma.
Yes, sir. Here in Oklahoma, we spreaded quite a bit of poultry litter. Is there any way of incorporating AGROTAIN Plus into the poultry litter and spread as a dry material to maintain the nitrogen that we are spreading?
He did a job, okay. Ready to go, Don.
Yes, indeed. AGROTAIN Plus, again, when we're talking about manure, we're usually talking about AGROTAIN Plus. We did a lot of work with the University of Maryland with the use of AGROTAIN Plus on poultry litter, either applied to the surface or incorporated soon after application. The application of AGROTAIN Plus is rather straightforward. You can apply the poultry or apply it to the poultry litter while it's still in the house, gather it up and spread out in the field already with AGROTAIN Plus applied.
Now, could Don and others looking at that sort of application go to the agrotain.com and find that information somewhere in there, Brian?
Perhaps they could go there and find it, or at least find the phone number, the local rep in their area. That might be the fastest way to find the information that they're looking for.
Very good.
Talk to somebody from AGROTAIN.
Agrotain.com, viewers, if we don't answer your questions or get to your calls here and try to get to as many as we can, but agrotain.com, a place to go to search for answers and more information.